And the president said that we're going to get to the bottom of it. And believe me, through our office, the Department of Labor, through MSHA, the Mine and Safety Administration, Health and Safety Administration, we're going to do everything we can to focus in on that, do a thorough investigation, make sure that we can work with the communities out there, and also begin a discussion, if folks are willing, about looking at how we can also improve their workplace safety, but also workforce opportunities for the young people out there. Believe me, to look into the face of some of these widows and their young children and to see what hardship they face. And they probably didn't realize that every single day there was a roll of the dice because of a bad operator, because that operator did not put safety and protection first. It was about something else, and I don't have to tell you what that was. But that's wrong. We see it happening in other explosions that occurred in Washington State. We saw it happen in Connecticut. And it's abysmal, our record. And we have to do better. That's why things have to change. That's why the Department of Labor is saying, yes, invest in our workers, but also make sure that our businesses are accountable. And when we talk about green, I don't mean that we go light, because green, when you think of green, you think of light, meaning that you're not having a negative footprint, right? But I'm saying don't go light on safety. Do not compromise on safety. You know, I have a poster here that I want to give to my good friend Leo, and it's so apropos to what's happening right now. And it was in celebration of Workers' Memorial Day, and it says, "Pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living." And that was back in the 30s, okay, by Mother Jones, talking about coal miners. But how relevant it is today because of all of the workers that have lost their lives. You know, every single day about 14 workers lose their lives. And that's unacceptable. In fact, what we're trying to do with the Department of Labor is to try to turn that paradigm around. And the way we're doing it is by increasing our enforcement tools, hiring up more people in OSHA, and also in wage and hour. And I'm happy to report that many of the folks that we've hired up in OSHA are out in the field now providing, I would say, tremendous education to workforces that are in those vulnerable areas, people that work in different industries that maybe have never actually been able to read a training manual, to understand what safety rules are in their own language. Why not? Why not? If you can prevent injuries on the job because people understand how to operate equipment, we're not saying everybody is illiterate here, by the way. There are people who do read in their appropriate language, but the business or the operator should make that information available. And all we're saying at DOL is we want you to do that. Go a step further. Make that happen so we can prevent the loss of life and a lawsuit, by the way, that'll save you money. Doesn't that make good sense? Yes. So no more injuries on the job, but let's focus in on where we do need to go with green jobs. And green jobs, as you heard, we have made tremendous efforts to get a lot of our friends in the labor movement involved in partnerships. This is the first time in history that I can think of that I've been involved in politics that I have seen such a robust plan to really make our efforts to see that our friends who care about working class people, hardworking people, be a part of this green energy technology sector. And I say that because I know many of you are in the room, many of you have benefited from the proposals that you have submitted to the Department of Labor, only I'm sorry to say we were oversubscribed. Gee, it's such a great idea. So many people want to be a part of this that we didn't have enough money. But that's something that we'll contend with because we have friends that want to help us, that can see the writing on the wall, that this is where our future is, that investment in new green job technology and training. And that investment is going to pay off for us in so many ways. And a lot of you here are already doing some very fascinating things with that, whether it's the IBEW, the steel workers, CWA, the laborers union, all types of different trades and folks are getting a part of that action. And what I like most, and I said it before, is those jobs are going to stay here. We are going to compete with China and India. I want to just tell you briefly that something that my father taught me very early on in life also was that to respect workers, to respect them because they do work hard, because they're well-intended. And my father worked very hard many, many years in this country, and he did organize workers. He was a shop steward for the Teamsters, and he had a hard job. His job was working at a battery recycling plant, where you would be exposed to lead poisoning, to all kinds of different toxics. And nobody ever really told the workers there what they were up against. But he figured it out, worked with the union, got the union to help organize and provide safety and protection and equipment and tools and everything for the workers there. And thank God they did that at that time, because it saved his life. Because a lot of the folks that he worked with now are dead. They're dead because they contracted cancer or other illnesses. My dad's 86, by the way. Shows you he has good genes. My mother also worked very hard in a factory plant after having her children. Mom was really someone who stayed with us most of our life as I was growing up. I was very lucky that I had my parent there for me. But when she did have to go off to work, she worked tirelessly, sometimes working overtime 10 hours a day, making $1.60 an hour. I remember that. She'd come home and share her check at the end of the week because she was so proud. But one thing that I remember was that this company that she worked for wasn't very kind always. And in fact, they got up and left, went to Mexico, and then a decade later went to China. But they still make profits. They still make profits. And I asked myself, we can't afford to go that route anymore. This administration is now making some major investments in manufacturing and in new technology here. And that's going to be our future, and that's going to be our green revolution. This is going to be not the industrial revolution, the green revolution. And I want to make sure that we attract those veterans that are coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan, that they also have a guaranteed job, a green job if they want one. I want to make sure that African American, Latinos, Asians, and dislocated workers, which is a lot of folks that you and I know, have opportunities to get involved in these new training programs. And by golly, this is the first time that a president and his administration have made so much a priority of investments in education and training. I can't tell you how progressive this movement is to get people engaged, and at a very low cost, a very low cost. In fact, some people don't even have to pay for this training. Much of it is also coming through the federal government, via the state government, and with partnerships, with business partnerships. So if you don't take advantage of this, then I think you're going to be left behind. But I'll tell you, the majority of people that I've seen across America, when I go talk to them about jobs or investments, future investments in their community, you know what they tell me? They say, Secretary, I don't want a handout. I just need a hand up. I just need a hand up because I want to have a job that gives me respect and dignity, allows me to raise my family and to plan for the future. That's what I want. I want that security. And you know what? This president's going to do that. He's going to work hard just as I am, because he and I are troubled that the course of action that was taken 8 years ago didn't prove too well for some of us here. And the people that it did prove well for are probably